time around we're going to do CRUD. So yeah, so our project is going to build a CRUD application. So some of us could have heard of a CRUD application. So a CRUD application it's an application, that carries out this functionality. So we're going to create, be able to delete, update, and create, delete, update, and read. Sorry, I didn't do it in the right format, but this is the 4 functionality that is going to carry out. And for an example, the example of CRUD application we're going to be creating is a grocery list. So a grocery list application. We're going to call it Listify. Yeah, we're going to call it Listify. So we're going to call it Listify. So that's the name of our application, Listify. Woo. Yeah, so let's dive into the functionality that this application will have. Number 1, it's going to be able to create list of grocery items, create list of categories. So we are going to have categories. So now this category now is going to be where your item is going to be based on. So for example, if your item is apple, you can put it under the category of fruit. Yeah, so apple under the category of fruit. So we're going to do it like this: apple, fruit. So if for example it's vegetable, should we say, okay, let's use rice. If for example it's rice, it's gonna be in cereals. Should we call it cereals? No, rice is not. Is it cereals? Should we call it cereals? Or yeah, we can just use cereals. Let's put it like that. So that's like an example of what we're saying about the list and grocery. So you'll be able to delete this item. Be able to delete category. So you'll be able to delete category also. So when you delete category, all items listed in that category get deleted. Yeah, all items listed in that category get deleted. So we're going to be using one-to-one relationship between categories and items. Well, so you're going to be able to update an item. You're going to be able to update an item. You're going to be able to read. That means read, or should we call it get all items. Get all items you have created. And for additional features, so if time permits us, for additional features, we might be looking into ability to share your grocery list. So ability to share your grocery list. So for example, now if I am your friend Ijoma and you want to share your grocery list to me, for instance, maybe I have difficulty creating my own grocery list and you want to give me a sample of a sample of your own grocery list so that I could use it to create mine. You have the ability to share your grocery list. So this is all we want to achieve in this application. So our tool, which tool are we using? So we're going to be using Elixir. Elixir is the programming language we'll be using, and we're going to be using Phonics Liveview for the front end aspect. Phonics Liveview. So we're going to be using Phonics Liveview. And what else? Yep, so we're going, the last time we used an ETS table, but this time around we're going to be using so we're going to be using Ecto. That means we're connecting to the database. Yeah. So in our next project, so the next time I meet, what we intend to achieve. So today we have been able to draft out all the features and everything that will be in this application. The next time we meet, we're going to create create the project. So we're going to create the project, create the migration file. So we're going to create the migration file for items, category, user, and whatever other migration file. We're going to create the schema. So you are going to create the schema. So schema is like a struct. So schema is a struct. What's a struct? So struct is like a map. So when we talk about map in layman English, let me get it. It's just like a bucket. So you know the way in a bucket now. Let me just say, for example, you have a wardrobe or a bucket. Let me use a bucket, and in that bucket now you want to put in clothes, you want to put in socks, you want to put in so many things. So that's how a struct is. A struct is just a map, an empty map where you're going to put, it has two values, a key and its value. So the key is like, okay, so for example, now in our list, in this our item, now we can have a key of name, we can have the value of orange. So we're saying that this name now, so whenever we looked at name, it's going to give us orange. So if we have pineapple, all this thing, I want to map out what's in the name, we're going to say, oh, orange, all this thing. So no, sorry, that's value, but struct carries a name and a field, like that's in the schema. Now we have a name, so a struct carries the key and the value. So in our schema now, what we want to do is that we want to think about the key and the type. So if we're saying a data type now, so most of us might have a data type. What's data? So data is just a collection of information. So what's data type now? So it's the type of information you are collecting. So in name now, we'll say, okay, I'm collecting a name. A name is a text, but in the programming language, the system says, oh, it can be a string, it can be a text. So we can give that type to say, oh, it's a name, but the type of text, the type of string. So in our schema file, we're going to have a name which will be tied to a string. So don't worry, when we go into this creation of this, I will explain more. But I'm just like trying to get your head wrapped up on what we are going to be seeing about. So we have create the context. So we're going to create the context file. We just want everything to be set up. So in the next project, we're going to be doing a lot of setup. My name still remains Benedicta, and welcome to Elixir Forge, your number one channel to learn Elixir programming language for beginners. We love you, and we love to see you in our next YouTube video.